Ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, shit, we got it on the first go.
That never happens. And of course, it's when we're not streaming it too.
Yeah.
Adam, I demand you
do we
keep that in the final cut so everyone will see how good we clapped.
Indeed. Like, make that the cold open or something.
Yeah, and then right after now we go into the theme song.
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought
including the second bit,
yeah.
highlighting the fact that I am now telling you that we need to keep it in and that the theme song will be going in now. And then I want you to cut me off right when I'm about to say now and put in the theme song.
Ho, weary traveler! Hark ye hence to destroy all clickbait, the show that rides through the swamps of cyberspace and foolishly follows the wetware will-o-wisps of the web off to places where men fear to tread. We are Adam, Ing, and Avi, and we are here as usual to dissect what's strange and notable on the web and that is desperately jockeying for your attention, which is, as always, everything.
Well met, my dude.
I'm sorry?
It's just doing a reply since it was like a very high fantasy opening.
Oh yeah.
Yes. My lord, you have my axe. You have my sword. You my bow. And my poleaxe. Anyway, go through all the medieval weaponry in that. Anyway, so yeah, but we've got kind of a crazy week, a crazy week with lots of stuff happening. Let's start lightly with the one the first one you sent there, Ing. One of our favorite genres, the millennials are killing things.
Because we're always killing something.
Yes.
Entire industries sometimes.
Hey, who among us is a millennial, by the way? I believe I'm Gen X. I'm like on the very tail end of Gen X.
What year were you born in?
77.
Yeah, so, you're Gen X.
So I'm still Gen X.
You are still Gen
Avi
X.
and I are millennials.
Yes, I believe millennials start at 79. I don't remember specifically, but you should still be considered Gen X, but the very tail end of Gen X.
Oh, yeah, 79. Right. I thought you said 89.
No, not 89, 79. So, yeah.
Who knows what those guys are yet?
Mind you, these things change all the goddamn time, and there's no consistency to it whatsoever. So
it was always kind of a thing that the baby boomers invented to make them feel special more than anything in the first place.
Kind of.
So many things.
To make them feel okay about hating their kids.
Pretty much. Because, like, for the longest time, my brother was considered Gen X, and he was an 82 baby, but suddenly now he is, like, the oldest among the millennials. So, it's stupid. It's stupid, and they change the rules all the goddamn time. In any case, we've killed mayonnaise.
Horrible children.
We've killed mayonnaise.
They've killed mayonnaise.
That wondrous egg-based food stuff.
Yes, which I do enjoy. For the record, let's be. I will admit and confess
Adam,
right now.
Hey Adam.
Yeah,
Hey Adam.
What?
Hey Adam.
Yes.
I think they could have saved it if they took it to the Mayo Clinic.
Oh my God! This podcast is over. The podcast is canceled. We're not doing it anymore. Everyone go home. Jeez.
Finally, I have my Thursdays back. Mission accomplished.
Oh, jeez.
God. Oh, the Mayo Clinic, yes. But they could have... Now, how do you kill... I haven't actually read this article. How do you kill mayonnaise, even? Is it doing badly? Is it not selling? Because that's a pretty basic condiment to not sell.
I'm guessing it's not selling as much as it used to.
I'm sorry! This is the best fucking byline I've ever read.
Yeah.
The inexorable rise of identity condiments has
Condiments.
led to hard times.
For the most
Damn
part,
identity politics killing my mustard. It all
What the
started
hell
with
does that
Obama.
even mean?
It's
It all started with Obama
politics.
and his fancy Dijon.
No, yeah, that's right. He had his Dijon. He mentioned liking Dijon once.
Oh, that's
and
right.
therefore is
It was-
yeah.
At first it was the tan suit, and then it was the Dijon mustard, and that ruined
Yeah.
everything.
And we had everyone
Right.
pretending
ruined
that
it.
Dijon is like a fancy schmancy thing, but it's like literally right next to Uncle Bub's hot butt sex Tabasco sauce right in the supermarket
And
aisle.
I'm pretty sure Dijon mustard is named for the town or city of Dijon
Oh, yeah.
in France.
Yep,
So
I'm pretty sure Dijon mustard predates like yellow mustard by ages.
Really?
Like, that is, I'm pretty sure that is classic mustard.
Okay.
And the kind that you get in the supermarket, like the yellow kind, is kind of a recent, North American invention as opposed to the original French Dijon. But it's not like Dijon is this super fancy. Like, do we really think of Dijon as a fancy? Like, that always blows my mind when people talk about Dijon as being fancy. It has a French name, and that's about it. It's just, otherwise, it's just a condiment. You know
for
what
a
I mean?
lot of people, if it's French, it's fancy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Despite the fact that
But-
it's literally the second most popular dipping sauce.
Is
Because it's just
Dijon
honey
or
mustard.
honey mustard.
Honey
Yeah, okay.
mustard. Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That's just the name for it if you don't want to, call it Dijon. Also, no, I'm seeing regular mustard existed for far longer since just checking the Wikipedia, and there's
Oh yeah.
and
Well, it's
the
a plant.
history starts referring to Indus Valley of India.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say Indians
Well,
use mustard for a lot of fucking shit.
Yes.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying
And not as
obviously
a condiment, but for a lot of stuff.
Right. Now, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying, but when you say they use mustard, was it like French's yellow mustard type of mustard, or was it some other type? Like it just be ground mustard seed.
The
right?
Romans the Romans had a recipe for some sort of mustard, and then exported the plant to Gaul, which became, France. So I'm
Dijon.
gonna take a yes.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Right.
Because
Yeah, I mean, it's not Dijon specifically, but it's that kind of mustard. Is I think like I feel like Dijon is sort of purer mustard than the kind you get with or French's or whatever, where it's like they add all this clearly food coloring and kind of crazy stuff to make it.
Actually,
like
yeah,
that.
you might be right. I think the Dijon came first, and the bright yellow French's mustard came actually in 1904. Boy, this is a very uninformative and ultimately unimportant detour.
yeah, that's okay.
Well, we're talking about condiments. We're talking about mayonnaise. We've killed mayonnaise, so we have
So
to
we might as well talk about
mustard.
mustard.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's the subject of tonight's film. But
You see, this is why mayors die, and all the millennials are so ignorant of their condiment history. You don't know you don't know where you came from. You don't know where you're going.
Yep. Well, I feel like mayonnaise is one of those things that existed because people had a shortage of things with spice in them to put on their food. Like, I mean, I like mayonnaise; it's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think that like I always remember reading. I don't know if it's true or not, but people like when Julia Childs died, people talked about how she's the reason why American cuisine went from just being the blandest ham sandwich type of stuff you could imagine to something. I mean, notwithstanding Southern cuisine or whatever, or Mexican cuisine or whatever, but like just suburban American white bread cuisine was seen as very bland, and she was one of the ones who brought over something a little more interesting in the 50s and 60s, supposedly. So I always think of American food, again, outside of certain zestier regions, as being extremely bland, and I can believe mayonnaise went along with that, because it's just eggs and oil, as this article points out.
Well, the thing with Julia Child is mostly that she made French cuisine a lot more approachable than it had been previously.
Right.
So that's really what she actually did. But as for this whole thing with mayonnaise, there's a part in the article where he talks about how these various dumb mayonnaise-based salads of their mothers,
Jeez. Yeah,
went untouched at a recent picnic, and it's just of like, I'm sorry, dill and celery seed is not going to make everything taste great, no matter how good your mom's potato salad you think it is. My mom puts fucking masala in that shit, and it always tastes wonderful. So,
yes.
and she uses dumb store-bought potato salad and does that.
Well, yes. I mean, I think the South Asian lady is just going to have it all over us for, more palatable cuisine than the standard sad white boys with their food. But
who think black pepper is too spicy.
We should have pointed out that this was by Sandy Hingston for the Philadelphia.
Yes.
Sandy.
But yeah, the proof that millennials are killing mayonnaise is that the younger members of the family didn't want to touch her mom's kind of shitty potato salad, including Waldorf salad. Which, I'm gonna be honest...
I hate Waldorf salad. Oh.
Yeah, you're gonna be hard pressed
Why would
to
you
get
put
anyone...
apple in it?
It's... No, the article...
I want my damn Waldorf salad!
I like... Well, now I'm gonna be a nerd and say I enjoy apples and pears and salad sometimes, so there you go. And
yeah, but like in a mayonnaise sauce. Also, I have to point out that if you're doing a Waldorf salad properly, it's a mayonnaise-based sauce that should be made from scratch.
Right.
Oh, so you shouldn't be using a jar-based mayonnaise. You should be taking those eggs and whipping that shit up yourself.
Also, if I'm gonna be real pedantic, even with potato salad and that, if you're going to make it air quotes right, you should be making the mayonnaise like from oil and egg whites yourself.
Right.
Yes, because we've all got time to do that, to make mayonnaise from scratch.
I don't know, some people
it actually doesn't take that long.
Like, you can definitely use a blender or something to that effect to make it go faster.
That's true.
I mean, everybody...
The whisking it is the hardest thing.
But you can get a fucking Cuisinart and have it do it for you, so...
It is a rather simple recipe, and like why I say that is because then you can get you get a much fresher taste, because just jarred mayonnaise is basically made to be preserved.
Yeah.
Right. You have to have a hen standing by at all times, and then have some eggs that are right out of the hen. I get it. As with anything, it's
eggs
kind of
fresh out of the chicken. They're still warm from the hen butt.
I wonder if anyone does that. You pick food in your garden and you put it in your food, and it's so nice and fresh. Do they ever say, I got it right out of the hen 2 minutes ago? Is that a nice? I mean, that's got to be fresh, right? If you do it that way.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I could technically do that because there's a farm down the road from us that does have hens, and they do sell eggs now, but they don't have very many, so they tend to go very quickly. So,
does it
growing
taste better?
Growing up, we raised chickens.
Oh.
And we would take eggs freshly delivered and wash them and eat them.
Oh, okay.
And and you could taste a real difference in how fresh they were and everything?
Well, actually, I don't think, from directly, it's still warm from the chicken butt.
No, obviously
but,
not.
But, is the taste any different?
The eggs do taste better with free-range chickens.
It's better with free-range chickens? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Well, there you go. Another reason to buy free-range. But I was just laughing at this article, though, when I was looking at it, because, as you say, it is literally just, no one came to my picnic. It's because of those millennials who are...
No, people came to the picnic, just nobody touched any of these mayo-based salads. Oh, dear Lord. I wonder if this person's mom's name is Karen.
Yeah. It definitely plays out like, what can I blame? Well, this almost... I mean, I feel like the millennials are killing... ... thing has entered into the consciousness enough that maybe this is almost a parody? I don't know. Or maybe not a parody, but written to the idea of, oh, that's a new template for articles. Millennials are killing things. What can I blame on millennials? Like, it almost feels like she wrote it to a template. You know what I mean?
Except she goes into the weird history of mayonnaise and...
Sure. Well, that would
also,
be part of
Adam, that's why it's on our show, because it is going into the clickbait template.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so either unself-aware or just so blatantly following the pattern of these articles that we've seen before that it seems almost, it's not that joy of someone just ignorantly stumbling on something that silly.
Although, apparently the original article title at the bottom says it was published as The White Stuff, which is just kind of saying a lot.
True.
Like, yeah, this is definitely a white person issue. Let's be fair.
Also,
yep. One called me mayonnaise boy.
Titling that article The White Stuff makes me lean highly towards lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Why does nobody want to eat my white stuff? My creamy, rich white stuff.
That's ill-advised. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Try the Wardle salad. I made it with my own white stuff.
God.
Millennials are reading dirty puns into everything. I can't write a simple article about, And then I went home and choked a chicken to cook for lunch, but then I couldn't write an article about that either, without millennials making fun of me. Anyway.
I have to give this quote, good old mayo has become the Taylor Swift of condiments.
Does she mean that as a good thing or as a bad thing?
No,
because Taylor Swift is not a good thing anymore.
No, it's saying that because mayo is too basic for contemporary tastes. And
that's not why Taylor Swift is bad. She's just a horrible person.
It's not exotic enough for the era of globalization.
Yeah. Well, given Taylor Swift has been, refusing to repudiate her Nazi followers,
and then, whenever anyone says anything even remotely bad about her, she throws a giant temper tantrum into a song, and then makes a music video about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just not a good person.
I'm sorry, I read ahead there, and... Okay, here's a quote. In a world torn asunder by the Great Depression, the Holocaust, and 2 world wars, our citizenry needed to come together, be united, rally behind a collective vision of what it meant to be American. You lived in a single-family house, you drove a station wagon, you wore bowling shirts and blue jeans, and you slathered mayonnaise on everything.
Oh my god.
I have a boner for mayonnaise now.
Okay, so that's the actual reason. It's one of those weird 50s things that old people want us to go back to. So therefore millennials are killing it.
It's I know this is the thing of, a very white person, because I have the whitest white name ever, but even I am going, it's I don't think that was America for everyone.
No.
Also, let's be honest, at that time, white people cooking really sucked.
Yep.
We put mayo on everything, and for some reason, we suspended everything in Jell-O.
Yeah. Although I did mention this before, I don't think it was on the show itself, but it was a World War II tactic for women to take mayonnaise and use it to bake cakes.
Right.
That is a legitimate thing that used to happen. So mayonnaise does have its uses, but it actually has to be real mayonnaise also.
Well, during, rationing, sure.
Yeah.
When you can't get anything else,
you
use mayonnaise. But it's, again, this whole thing about, the good old days of the 1950s makes me think that, again, it ties into the whole, why did those millennials come along and ruin everything,
I'm sorry.
God forbid we have taste or something.
This has to be intentional. My son Jake, who's 25, eats mayo. He's a practical young man who works in computers and adores macaroni salad. He's a good son. I also have a daughter. She's a women's and gender studies major in college. She loathes mayonnaise.
You know those
And
gender
she's-
studies majors, and they're disliking.
I don't know
of
if I'm
mayonnaise.
reading
And
too
she's
much
not alone!
I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, that it's like, almost like a string of these filthy liberals killing our mayonnaise.
I know, it's literally subbing in not liking mayonnaise for liberal elitist. And you know, the crazy part is, if this was like a food blog, I could almost understand all this, but it's not a food blog. It's just
It is in the food section.
It's the food
Yeah,
section
but-
of Philadelphia Magazine, which is, you know, a publication that very many people read, I'm sure.
Oh my god. Well, everyone from Philadelphia, I'm sure, but oh my god. And the famously white city of Philadelphia. What? Oh my god.
No. But
I know, I'm being sarcastic. That's my point. Just the origin. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's again, I don't think the person who wrote it meant it as a parody.
no.
It does kind of feel like it's being, like I say, written to a, since everything is clickbait and being designed for, you know, a formula. I think that it almost feels a bit like that. They know that these millennials are killing blah blah blah. Were relentlessly mocked by the millennials, so she tried to get some of that action, because they don't care if it's hate clicks as long as it gets clicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. This is like, okay, this is starting as a food blog, and by the end, I'm fairly certain they're going to be citing QAnon. There's also the shunning of their parents' preferred restaurants, Applebee's, Ruby Tuesdays, TGI Fridays, to seek out more authentic fare. Old school eateries, in turn, are diversifying their search for new customers. Just this year, Red Lobster rolled out a waffles and lobster option, and Red Robin launched a vegan burger. You don't put mayo on a vegan burger. McDonald's has debuted a signature Sriracha burger, joining KFC, Wendy's, and Subways, and signing on to the sizzling Thai sauce moment in the sun. You don't say Hoi Fong Foods started a schmear campaign against the cultural appropriation of that. Also, that wasn't a mispronunciation.
Well, that's because there's...
It's...
Well, that's because
No, wait.
been
I have
Chinese
to clarify.
food. Yeah.
Saying it schmear wasn't a flub on me. That's how it's spelt. Instead of schmear campaign,
Smear.
SCHMEAR.
Schmear. I think it's a pun, like a schmear, meaning just a food, a bite of food, basically.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a Yiddishism, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right,
But
then
it's,
it doesn't work.
no, it does not. It does
No,
not
it
work.
doesn't.
And it definitely doesn't work said out loud.
No, it does not.
We
But they
won't even
also-
get into the fact that, like, Asian flavors have been a thing in the United States for a very, 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 very long time,
Yeah.
despite what white people might want to think.
Yeah, this is pretty blatantly, like, this is actually getting depressing how much it's,
Oh, yeah.
you know, dog whistling some of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Although
I-
I do want to read this because I love it. Mayonnaise isn't bland; it's artfully blended. In the evocation of the era I grew up in, the homogeneity of the old dead American dream.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's in the
Yeah.
middle. That's in the very middle of this stupid article.
Yeah, this is very blatantly, I guess it's very lightly nodding towards you know, the average Trump voter and trying to connect it with that.
Yeah.
You know, as always, it's the ultimate clickbait. Is
Oh my
to
god, they
attach
even
something
reference
to-
that their mom also makes those horrible jello salads.
Those look pretty disgusting, I have to say. And by the way, we're talking about American cuisine in the 50s being all bland and stuff. How do you imagine Canadian cuisine in the mid 50s with bland? Because all of the stuff, you guys have all these different cultures and yeah, we do have some, immigrants, but there are huge stretches in this country of Canada that are
You
very,
can say
very
Alberta.
white
It's
and
okay.
very,
They're
very
not real people.
rural. And yeah, so there's some legend, and plus, of course, it was British people originally, so
And British food
starting
is
from
bland
that-
as all hell.
Adam, do you hear that?
What?
That's the entire province of Quebecois being mad at you.
I know, that's fine. The west of Quebec, it's English. I'm from Ontario, so that's where I'm coming from on that. But it is true that Quebec, like Toronto, as I've said before, is one of the most diverse cities in the world. You can get pretty much any good, regional cuisine that you want in Toronto.
We were talking about pho before, so
yeah, pho, yeah. But you go, like you drive for an hour and suddenly it's like you're lucky if you can find, a Chinese restaurant, basically.
Okay, but to be fair, you still had, even in the 50s, the ideas of adding cheese curd to French fries, so you were already ahead of us.
Was a Quebec. Anything interesting about Canadian cuisine at that point would have been from Quebec, mostly, if it wasn't ethnic. Quebec, if you consider that ethnic, but of course they're native Canadians. There's a very strong tradition of Jewish delis in Montreal, especially. So if you ever heard of Montreal steak spice, that was kind of a thing that they came up with, and there's a lot of. It's the same kind of stuff you get in any Jewish deli, but that is something that's part of the tradition in Montreal. But actually, it's interesting because when you say adding cheese curds and stuff, I remember my mom and dad, my mom especially, she talked about how, like, when the Italian restaurant set up in her town, that was this crazy ethnic restaurant.
Oh God,
is coming to town. The Italian restaurant.
Well, and that does kind of make sense for that time period to a certain extent, but that's
This would have been Deep River, Ontario, which is up north near Ottawa, or not far from Ottawa. So yeah, that's the kind of thing we're dealing with until fairly recently. So everything you want to say about American cuisine in the mid 50s, multiply it by 10, and there's Canadian cuisine for you. I should point out, by the way, though, I do like British cuisine. It's just not prepared well usually. My grandmother, who was British, she used to prepare, actually, like, Yorkshire pudding is great, and toad in the hole, and
I was gonna say, if it's not something that's kind of pie based, it's not going to taste good.
Well, the problem
that's
is
my general experience with it. So
yeah, when I actually went to England, and the food there, I was like, oh, I'll get some of the British things I like, and it wasn't good, and it's because they just boil everything. That's how they cook everything. It's boiled and maybe lightly grilled, and like I had pork chops, and they're boiled, and it's just like, this is not good. There's no flavor to it, for crying out loud. Of course, now in Britain, it's like you get a nice curry everywhere you go, and that kind of stuff.
Well,
but it's not surprising. And I'll say this: English breakfast is the classic hungry man breakfast kind of thing, and that I'll go to bat for. That's always delicious. The bacon and eggs and sausage and 8 pounds of meat kind of thing.
And then they put beans on toast.
Yeah, they put beans on toast and tomato, which is actually really good. I really like that, personally. And you can get a black pudding, which may or may not be your thing. But generally, that's a good meal. It's just all the other stuff that's kind of...
again, if it's not pie-based or fried, it's generally not going to be good.
And yet so much of it is pie-based.
Yes. I wonder why. All of the things that people talk about when it comes to British food tends to be pie-based or fried. So
yes. Well, so that can be very good, in fact. But anyway. So I like that once in a while. Anyway, so shall we move on to the next thingy?
Mayonnaise isn't dead, people. We still eat it on sandwiches. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. California-style burgers are good.
What's a California-style burger?
That's effectively
a burger. Burger with tomato, lettuce, onion, and mayonnaise on the bun.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, well.
That just sounds like a burger to me, but
Yeah,
okay.
that's pretty standard.
That's how common it is.
Ah.
Yeah. So the mayo is the California.
I think they might have actually written this to be funny, looking at some of their other stuff.
Uh-huh.
Although I do have to share this great bit for Clickbait that they also did.
10 things you might not know about root beer magnate Charles Hires.
Yeah, it's true. There probably are 10 things I don't know about him.
1, he was named Charles Hires.
It's Hires, not Hines, eh?
Yeah, Hires.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't read the list yet.
Yeah. He's the Jersey boy.
There you go. Yeah, he's one of these pharmacists who invented a cola that, under the guise of being healthful tonics, like Coca-Cola, right?
Yeah.
It was invented as a health drink at the time.
The working name for his concoction was Hires Root Tea.
Hires dyspepsia mixture.
And then his friend suggested root beer instead, insisting our hard-drinking miners in central Pennsylvania will never touch a drink labeled tea. God, I didn't know root beer was invented in New Jersey.
There you go. Be proud.
We also invented glitter, so I don't know if there's much to be proud of there.
Glitter and root beer. Come on, that's great.
Look, hey, Jersey has a lot to be proud of. We invented glitter and Danny DeVito.
I think Danny DeVito and root beer is enough to make you stand out. And of course, you also have...
Oh my god, putting those words next to each other, I would drink the shit out of like a Danny DeVito endorsed root beer.
Maybe he's got one. Maybe you should check.
If he did, I would know. Hold on, I need to tweet it to him. That's a gold business opportunity.
You'll sell to me specifically, and maybe some other people, but that's all I care about.
I personally don't like root beer except for, I think the brand is called Boland's. That's the only one I've tried that I've actually liked. I can't drink A&W. I can't drink Barks. I've tried both of them.
I have a friend who is this hardcore root beer aficionado, and he'll say the same thing. He says, he kind of likes A&W, but he'll say all the public root beers, the publicly available root beers are not, they're not good. You have to get all the specialty root beers, the Doc Brown's root beer and the...
I think it's called Boylan.
Yeah, Boylan. Yeah, that's the sort of...
Boylan soda. Because I think I had that once, and it actually tasted good. Unlike most root beer, which just doesn't taste good.
Yes. You've got to get the fancy elitist specialist root beer. I'm
very proud of myself. I did not make an Adventure Zone joke.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry.
And I would have gone, huh?
Yeah, Avi would have thought it was funny, though, I think.
Possibly. I vaguely know of the Adventure Zone. I've listened to like half an episode, I think.
Here's a joke referencing a fairly obscure character from that podcast.
Well, then I'm not going to get it.
That's okay. Don't worry. I'm not sure if I would get it either. Either that or I would instantly remember it, so...
Yeah, this root beer article is actually, it's too informative and interesting. It's not exactly full of zany, bizarre facts.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a history of how root beer was invented.
Yeah.
Which is informative, but not not really clickbait, actually.
I would say it's quirky, if anything, whereas the other article is definitely clickbait.
Yes. Well, which one? We've got several here.
I meant the Mayo article. It's definitely definitely clickbait. And again, you can tell that they're trying to be quirky in this one as well, but it just comes off as being like, what's the word?
Root beer? No, I think whoever wrote this article is into root beer and really cares about
the root beer article is fine. The root beer article is good.
It's the same author.
It's the same author.
I went searching for other stuff they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the root beer article is good. We like the root beer article.
Okay, so here's the
They
thing.
should just
Clearly-
continue to write articles that are more like the root beer article.
Well, there's the thing. Here's what happened. Clearly, she wrote the root beer article. The editor said, "This is really boring. It's too educational and straightforward. Write something with lots of dog whistles and plugged into the zeitgeist
And buzzwords.
Blames millennials. You know, makes the old people who read our magazine feel self-righteous about millennials."
I skimmed through some of her other stuff, and she does seem to aim for like a tongue-in-cheek with some stuff, so this may have been intended to be funny, but
Again, at best it's quirky, but it just ends up as being kind of condescending.
Yeah, it's part of
That's
the
what it
problems
actually ends
with
up doing.
satire thing, that if you can't tell that it's a satire, then you've just replicated.
Then it's not sad. Yeah, then it's not good.
I'm going to stand by my editorial enforced desperation interpretation of this. I think whoever Sandy Hingston is, I think she's a hardworking journalist who really cares about root beer and food, and really just wants to enlighten the masses on food. And her editor is going, write something with more sex appeal.
Oh shit! Actually, I can kind of see that now. If she did just want to write like. Fuck. I almost didn't bring this up because I don't want to humanize her too much. It makes it hard to ridicule. But no, of the things there was like, oh, she just wanted to write about like the history of mayonnaise, but we needed like the anti-millennial thing as a framing thing to justify it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably what it actually was.
That really wasn't feel. Even the fact that they changed the title, as you mentioned. Although, as we say, the white stuff has its own connotations.
Yeah, that's not a good title.
It's also just a bad title.
Try my gelled salad. I made it with it has my white stuff suspended in it.
Oh, God, Ing. Let's move off the white stuff, for God's sake.
Okay, fine. Don't die.
Ing-zap. No, I'm okay. I'm alive. See, but you almost killed me, Ing, but I'm still here. Still standing. Let's move on to the 3 elite credit cards. That one looked kind of interesting. From CNBC, no less. It's 3 elite credit cards with outrageous benefits, only available to the super rich. And then it's a picture of Jennifer Aniston, so they can. That is Jennifer Aniston, right? Or is it like? No, is it like?
I think it's just somebody. Her jaw is very much like Jennifer Aniston.
It's not. Yeah, it looks like Jennifer Aniston. Maybe it's like...
It's just a person. It's from Getty Images.
Some rich lady. It's a stock photo of a rich lady.
Or we assume a rich lady because she's wearing a dumb hat.
Yeah, as the rich are known to do.
Indeed.
Gallivant in their hats.
Yup.
So... private after our show. So let's see what they got here. The American Express Centurion card, or black card. $75,000 initiation fee, followed by a $25,000 annual fee, which, okay, so you have a fee on top of having to pay your credit card bill. That's great. Again,
yeah, because that's how goddamn rich you are.
Yeah. Well, clearly, at this point, it's more about being able to flash a snazzy-looking card
that
get into.
Nobody else has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It gets you through the door at any restaurant. Look at my card. I always like that in... You don't see that much anymore, but I liked it in like old TV shows. It was always like, look at my credit card, and then the waiter would like part, and they'd show them into the secret room because they had the special credit card.
So
there's
here's
apparently
the thing.
3 special credit cards.
That's apparently what the black card does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's the black card, the Palladium card, and then Palladium, and then the Bank of Dubai First Royal Mastercard is apparently trimmed with real gold, and has a carat and has a diamond embedded in its center.
But so what they're talking about with the American Express card, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
they said that you can, quote, buy anything, which means that if you wanted to buy, so somebody wanted to buy the horse that Kevin Costner rode in the 1990 film Dances with Wolves. So American Express located the animal in Mexico and delivered it to Europe.
Oh.
Another Centurion holder in London wanted sand from the Dead Sea for their child's school project. So the company dispatched an employee by motorcycle to go get some. Why motorcycle? I don't know, but it just sounds cool. So apparently this is basically like a personal assistant in a card, which also...
Well, yeah, you can list any crazy, stupid thing, and that they will apparently sell it to you.
Uh-huh.
Which they didn't say that they bought the horse from whoever owned it in Mexico.
Apparently.
So, I mean, I guess that we're supposed to assume that, like, American Express actually bought it for them. Though I do like to imagine that just American Express dispatched agents to steal a horse.
Just drop money, steal horse.
The credit card...
No, not even drop money, because they're getting money from their client. They're just stealing this horse. They're just leaving this guy to, like, this farmer to shake his fist and throw his head on the ground.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cursing the American Express banditos.
The American Express banditos. Oh, those banditos, I'll get them some of these days. The horse thieves. And yeah, well, it does kind of make it sound like a gang.
I can't believe I spent my retirement from being an old-time prospector impersonator down in Mexico only to get my horses stolen.
They're one horse. That was I'd like to know when that was, because if it was recently, then that horse is getting pretty old. Like that was
also the thing that my other thought was, there's no way American Express actually located the fucking horse, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, they probably have. It probably does have papers, actually. If it was officially the horse from the movie or whatever, they could probably provide at least a documentation train. So I'll buy that they didn't just come up with a random horse, but that would be pretty funny if they'd done that.
Watch this movie and get me a horse that looks like that one.
Yeah, exactly.
And hurry, we got a real whale on the line for this one.
I haven't seen Dance with Wolves. Is it a distinctive-looking horse, or is it just like a black horse?
I don't know. I haven't seen Dances with Wolves either, so...
They don't say when this happened. I like to imagine that it was now, because that means that they definitely didn't get the original horse, because it's fucking dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if this happened now,
yeah, if it was...
Get me the dog that played Wishbone.
Well, I don't know.
It's been a while for that horse to still be alive, even if it was...
I don't know how long horses live, though. How long do horses live? Maybe they live...
You should know this.
Yeah.
I'd have to look up the exact thing. My instinct wants to say around a decade.
Okay, that makes
sense. Only a decade?
I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, no, I'm wrong. 25 to 30 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, the horse could be alive. But
it would be a very old horse.
Yeah, I was also presuming that, the horse would be a fully grown horse with some other acting credits under its belt.
No, the horse was enjoying its retirement, damn it, and some asshole from Europe came, and they literally sent the horse to a nice farm in Mexico for it to romp and play after its great performance with...
This horse was literally dragged away from like a stud farm or something.
Probably.
Like, no! Why?
I was out just when I think I'm out. They kept pulling me back in. It was the basis for BoJack
Nay, I say, nay!
I've actually not watched BoJack Horseman, even though I've been meaning to.
It's a great show. But I'm just saying, it's also a horse who gets sucked back into Hollywood, who had a big starring role, and then...
Oh my god.
So, it's the true life story of BoJack Horseman.
Clearly.
So also we've got this J.P. Morgan reserve card, which what does this do here?
Which supposedly Barack Obama had.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not.
It doesn't do any. Yeah, it doesn't do anything exciting like get you a horse.
No.
It's just a status symbol.
Yeah, as they say, status symbol. But the Bank of Dubai one looks kind of interesting. What do we got here? It's
You,
a dedicated relationship manager who
yeah.
provides royal lifestyle management.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they could have just given up all pretense and called it the Caligula card.
Yeah.
Live
Basically.
like a Roman
I
Emperor.
forget who, but somebody said that Dubai as a whole is the geological equivalent to the douchebag you know in college who won the lottery.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yup.
Yes, that they're definitely throwing that bling around, geographically speaking. They've become they're not afraid, which I know it's really bad. I know there's so many bad things about that.
Mm-hmm.
I do kind of like the fact that they've just gone nuts architecturally. That is kind of entertaining to me. I know there's all these human rights violations and stuff. I'm not gonna defend Dubai in any capacity. I know it's known as just a terrible place apparently, but I do like that they just went completely nuts with, it's the the nouveau riche city, basically.
Yeah. Mind you, I've
It's
only
the
ever been to the
Trump of
airport,
cities.
so...
Oh, you've been there?
I've just been to the airport, connecting flight to India. So, because when you fly Emirates, you always stop at Dubai.
Huh.
Also, I was just looking it up out of curiosity, and the horse, I believe, who was named Buck, who played Cisco the horse in Dancing with Wolves, died in 2008 at the age of 33.
Right.
Okay.
Which I fortunately
that must-
know.
Definitely
thanks-
a dead horse.
Yeah.
And now we're literally beating a dead horse.
Yeah, we can't beat that story.
Nope.
Yes, that is the best part of that article is the talk about the horse. But that was presumably like shortly after Dances with Wolves, so it was a fairly young, fresh horse at that point. I'm going to assume.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, there you go. Although the fact that they had to kind of dig it out.
We could stop the podcast and do the math to calculate the dog's age.
Oh,
And by
God.
dog,
We're
I
doing
mean
this.
horse.
Yeah.
Little known fact,
Let's-
since that comes
Yes.
up in film better, dogs often play horses in movies.
It's like, what is it, the Monty Python routine where they go, oh yeah, like you can't have cows on film. We just tape a bunch of cats together. No, that's a Simpsons routine.
That's a Simpsons.
we just tape a bunch of cats together.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, it's well, this is the kind of proof that the client would have demanded to confirm that it was in fact the horse from Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
They needed complex math to prove that it was the right age, and then they had to look at its mouth.
I'm sorry, how fucked up would it be? Because, like, we're assuming they wanted the horse, because they're horse people and wanted a horse. How fucked up would it be if it's this rich person where they deliver the horse? Ah, yes, the horse from the Kevin Costner movie. Take it down to the butcher so they may do their dark deed.
Oh.
And inform me when dinner is ready.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go even darker with that, Ing, frankly. I thought they were talking about someone who wanted to really fuck a horse very badly.
Oh, God.
Have the horse bathed and brought to my quarters.
Oh, jeez.
No, if that were
Well,
the
we
case,
all-
they'd be using the Dubai Caligula card for that.
Yeah, that's right. That's what that's for.
Although,
Well, we
on
do
that
fall in love
note, there is rumors along that for the hyper-rich that there is a secret restaurant club in Japan where
Right?
you do
Where they...
order an animal to have sex with and then they kill and cook it.
What? What?
See, when I hear about things like that, I'm kind of like,
Again,
that's just something they spread to make it sound like they're really crazy and elite rich people, but they don't actually do it.
Yeah.
But
But then you always get the one person who totally wants to do the thing.
you only need one or two clients willing to pay enough to keep that restaurant in business, I guess. But there you go. Well, and actually, you know what? That's a good segue to the other article, because
bring me the pig that played Babe.
Oh, no.
I'd eat that pig. I can't lie. I won't front. I would eat that pig.
Yes, that is indeed some pig.
Oh no.
That's Charlotte's Web, not Babe. But yes,
Just batting the sides of the mouth with a napkin. That'll do, pig.
that'll
do.
Oh.
Exactly. Well, from what I understand, there were about like 30 pigs that paid Babe, because he's of course just a piglet, and they
Oh
get
yeah, piglets grow hella fast.
yeah, they grow up. Yeah, exactly. They're more or less huge in like a couple weeks. So basically, they had to keep training piglets to keep having. So the movie is not in any way realistic, since he's a tiny pig for like a year, according to the
Right.
according to the timeline. But the
He
movie
could
does
be
not
like
pretend to be
the
realistic.
Peter Dinklage of pigs. He could have dwarfism
He could
or
be,
something.
yeah.
He was supposed to be the runt of his litter, so that does make sense.
Yes.
He
Well,
was-
it's
But
also
I do
crazy
like
fairy
just
tale.
pointing out though that the piglet grew too fat. The piglets grew too fast to reliably play the pig for the whole movie, so they had a conga line of trained pigs.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
exactly.
that's great.
And of course, what's cool about that is that pigs are very smart, so they could do it pretty fast. They train them pretty easily.
Also,
That actually,
to make them look the same and look like Babe, I believe the pigs are wearing like a little wig.
Aww.
yeah, that was his little signature in the movie. He had a little pig wig.
I like the little
but that
hair
is
on his
reminding
head.
me of-
That's done by makeup to make the piglets look the same.
God, imagine
What
being
did
the
you do in
person-
Hollywood? I was a pig makeup artist.
My
You
God,
handle
I'm
makeup
literally
for a
putting
living?
makeup on. I'm literally putting lipstick on a pig. What has happened to my
Yeah,
life?
Exactly. So then I bought this horse and moved down to Mexico, but some European guy wanted. But that is reminding me of the story about. I've never seen Green Acres, but apparently there was a pig on that show named Arnold the Pig, who was like very, he was the charming pig who bothered them or whatever. And he was a trained pig, and apparently they ate him at the end of the show.
I heard that was a
supposedly,
rumor.
they had a
I'm
big party.
pretty sure that did not actually happen.
That's
I think
that's
it was
probably one of those
Abner
urban
the
legends,
pig.
but that is what they say happened. Again, it probably wasn't just one pig anyway. It was probably multiple pigs, but supposedly. But in talking about secret food clubs, that actually is a bit of a segue to the QAnon article, which you've provided for us here, Ing. Because one of among the many things that the QAnon people believe is going on among the secret global elite of monsters who control us all, is that they are cannibals, and they've got a whole secret system of code. That's, I think, one of the reasons why they're supposedly kidnapping people, is to eat them, in some of the crazier corners of QAnon. So and if I recall correctly, there's a series of codes that they think they put in images, and I think if it's a pineapple, it's a sign of cannibalism or something like that.
Pineapples are a sign of cannibalism?
Yes, if a celebrity has a photo of themselves with a pineapple, it's a sign that they've eaten the long pig. Supposedly, according to the QAnon people.
But
Why-
pineapples are just popular right now because it's summer.
You're asking for logic from the QAnon.
Okay,
people.
here's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's true.
If you were a secret cabal of, if you were like in the Hannibal Club,
Yeah.
why would you
That's-
advertise it? Like, there's no reason. Like, if you're
No.
in the club, everyone who is a peer who needs to know knows. There's no fucking reason to, like, give a fucking clue to someone there. These are...
Yeah.
It's not like... This isn't fucking L.A. Noire where they have to give you a clue to the crime in order for it to be fair.
Oh yeah. No, it's that's the whole thing with all these conspiracy theories, of course. It's always based on like breadcrumbs and secret code that they put in things when they, there's no reason, like the Illuminati, who's supposedly been leaving giant examples of the imagery that they use to control the world so that anyone could stumble into it at any moment, just because they can, apparently. But that is one of the things. Pineapples, if I'm not mistaken.
Now,
are a
secret
big-
societies have used, like, codes and imagery and stuff,
Yeah.
but that's done to communicate with each other,
Right. And,
or
that was
if
in
if it's a cryptic club, they actually do leave breadcrumbs in that, because actually finding like, where to request membership via those clues is, like, part of initiation.
Right.
But, again,
But
this wouldn't be the case of, like, yes, bring me Kevin Costner, who was with that horse and dances with wolves. He will be a great side dish.
Oh my god.
there is someone out there who wants to eat Kevin Costner, but that hasn't gone to. But they're not. They're yeah.
They're still
Anyway,
arguing with their Du Bois Blackguard over it.
Yeah, the Caligula card. Yeah, that's eat the celebrity of your choice. Only Jeff Bezos can do that, but it's
Oh, jeez.
he's enough. Again, it's $1 billion to eat Kevin Costner. So
Yeah.
Kevin
Yeah, but
Costner's
that's
like,
not
"Oh,
because
for
he's
$1
a
billion."
billionaire. That's because he's a snake person and can unhinge his jaw and just eat a whole Costner.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Yep.
Him and Governor Rick Scott go and hang out, and they're the secret. They're part of the snake people cult that secretly.
Yeah, they go
controls
way
all.
back. They were spawned in the same orgy ball.
Same orgy ball of the snake people.
I have to clarify that is how several species of snakes mate.
They go into a bowl.
Ball.
Into a
yes.
ball.
A ball. Oh, okay. I thought you
Just
said
a
bowl.
bunch of snakes all come together, and yeah, the only way you can describe it is a mating or orgy ball.
Okay. I mean, they could potentially do it in a bowl, but they don't have to.
That makes it sound
This
like
just
somebody. I
turned
want my
into
snakes
the.
to mate. Put
This
them in a
just
bowl.
turned into the weirdest Dr. Seuss.
I would not, could not in a bowl. I would not, could not with a foal. I would not, could not with Kevin Costner. Anyway.
I would not, could not with a Costner.
Exactly.
I would not, could not with a lobster.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Are we going to drag Jordan Peterson into this now? Oh, my God.
That was
But
my way to transition us back.
Yes. Well, the QAnon guy, anyway, just the article, which isn't really clickbait, it's just pointing out that this guy who set these forest fires in California, or this fire that's been raging in California, is a QAnon guy, and he's a kook. But they did find out that he is a member of the QAnon cult, and as Ing has pointed out, he kind of, the media weirdly dropped it at that point, although I guess he's been arrested and everything.
Like, people
everyone
lost their homes because of this guy.
Yeah.
And, okay, here's the thing. If somebody who was, like, a huge Obama fan torched even one, like, townhouse, that would be a huge fuck. Because of his political beliefs, that would be a huge thing. But it's just like, well...
Yeah. Something is up, and it's not whatever the conspiracy theorist people are actually thinking.
Yeah, it's funny because QAnon did blow up a bit in the media, and it's a pretty juicy story, really. You'd think the media would be all over it, in terms of, look at these weirdos and the fact that they have all this a surprising amount of power and are a subculture and so on. But nope, they were the flash in the pan, and then they faded away from view. But anyway, this is it's a little depressing. But anyway, yeah, it's the new Pizzagate is this guy setting the fires in California.
Yeah.
Which
apparently he started them because he had a fight with a fire chief.
Okay.
Well, okay. So he thinks that. Anyway,
yeah, Mike Milligan, the chief of the fire.
Threatened by fire.
No, yeah, he came back. It's like he got in a. It's like such a weird thing. It said that Forrest Clark, who's the guy who did it, allegedly started the fire following a dispute with Milligan, who was the fire chief. And he came the Clark came to Milligan's home to return items he, air quote, borrowed from the fire department. Upon which, apparently, Milligan was properly pissed off that this guy had been stealing from the firehouse and all. And
Wonder why.
And to put it there that, Clark turned and left and was quoting the Bible, and later came back, told me what a jerk I was, and that everyone was after him, and sent him a text that the place is going to burn just like you planned. And then he drove off into the woods and started a fire to apparently spite the fire chief.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean,
we're laughing, but this is like an obscene amount of damage this guy's done. He's being held on $1 million bail.
Yeah, not unreasonable.
He properly faces life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to come down on someone like that, unfortunately. I mean, you don't want to... I mean, California seems to get wildfires, without anyone trying to set them, let alone some pyromaniacs, so...
Well, I mean, that's the final line, is like, who would do this when there's low humidity, high wind, and high heat temperature?
Well, I doubt he put that much thought into it. I don't think he was trying to maximize his fire ability. I think he was...
I kind of think he was.
I think he was...
I kind of think he was, because that's
really?
the point that they're making, that if you're in California, you know what the conditions are for, like, starting these wildfires, and this guy went and intentionally started a forest fire.
Yeah.
During these conditions, so it's like, something this big was, like, intended.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so...
And you may
so
say that
dismaying.
it's unfair to judge, like, a whole group by one people, but it's becoming, like, a real pattern with the QAnon people, that they keep doing shitty, violent shit.
And it's interesting, he was held by police and he was released. They haven't said why he was released, but he was released from police custody. They placed him on psychiatric hold. So
After the fire or before the fire?
Before the fire.
Right.
So he was released and then went
Good
on
job there, Good job there, coppers.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, it can be tricky to hold someone if they haven't actually done anything, unfortunately. So
I think it's different
I
think it's different if they put it on a psychiatric hold, because I think you need to be released by a psychiatrist then. So yeah. I'm going to assume that didn't happen, because I don't think he's smart enough to know how to fool a psychiatrist.
Yeah. Well,
I'm also maybe, like, taking a shot in the dark, that if there's a thing like that the cops are like, this guy may do something, like, crazy. Maybe we should look up on that.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, put a goddamn ankle bracelet on him. Like, that would have been probably the easiest thing for them to do if they had to release him for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think it's, as always with these, it's just,
kind of my point of it is the cops do very little to prevent crime or actually proactively protect people, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Well, there's that too. Yes. Yeah, unfortunately. But, I mean, that's the problem. Anyway, so that's depressing. So let's move on to, Avi, if I'm not mistaken, you said you had Waluigi news, right?
Oh, yes, Waluigi, unfortunately, is not playable in Smash. That's the Waluigi news. He's an assist trophy instead. So he is in the game, you just can't play as him.
Sorry, which game are we talking about?
Smash Brothers Ultimate, which is the game that everybody is talking about, or was talking about, because there was a Nintendo Direct recently that revealed a bunch of more characters that are playable, and it's pretty much a lot of characters people have been asking for, namely K. Rool from the Donkey Kong series, and who else? I'm blanking now.
Yeah. Well, I think didn't we talk about that a week or two ago? Just with the Smash Brothers and, like, Ridley coming in instead of Waluigi.
Well, Ridley was their initial was their initial one. They did a recent one again where they introduced a whole bunch of other characters. K. Rool from the Donkey Kong series is one of them, as well as another villain that I am totally blanking on for some reason, as well as Dark Samus from the Metroid series, and a bunch of other things. But people were still upset because, goddamn, no Waluigi. Or at least no playable Waluigi.
Yeah. But Ing here has an article. Do you see this?
Yes. Oh my god.
So someone's written a Waluigi movie. This is, of course, somebody online, not Hollywood, that we know of.
This is an intentional joke, but I thought it was funny enough.
Yeah. The Dark Lynchian reboot starring none other than that other purple prince, Waluigi. Yeah, but it's clearly a joke, but it's kind of amusing. Closeted romance between Waluigi and Wario. Hundreds of empty wallets. Okay.
Waluigi takes out a fucking gun.
So it's a noir film.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Thank you, Spicy J and Papa Z.
And it's about the hunt for Luigi, apparently.
I guess. Oh, that's right. That's the other thing in Smash News. Luigi is dead. Nintendo,
Oh, yes.
Nintendo killed Luigi. Nintendo insists that Luigi is fine, but Nintendo killed Luigi.
Yeah, well, I haven't been following that. I thought that was just some weird joke where he became a ghost for some reason.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that? What game was that related to?
Castlevania.
It was a trailer for revealing that they have Castlevania characters in the new Smash,
including Death.
Yeah, which has Luigi exploring a haunted house, and then he's killed by the Grim Reaper.
In the trailer, though.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. They haven't released the game yet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see. Again, this is me being completely out of the loop on video games, but yeah, that seems like
it's not as totally random as it seems, as Luigi has some experience in the busting ghosts business.
Right.
Yeah.
I know there was a game about that. Yes.
2, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. One was where he has a vacuum cleaner and he sucks up ghosts.
Yes. Yes, I have seen clips of that. It's rather amusing.
Yeah, he had that on his back when Death killed him. So
I'm very curious, without having seen it, without having played Smash Brothers or anything. I am very curious about how that plays tonally in a trailer that Luigi dies in a Castlevania related, like, that seems like it's a little all over the map.
Luigi has died in a Castlevania related mishap.
You're not wrong. It's part of the reason why the internet kind of exploded over it.
It's hilarious.
Is it played straight? Is it played comedically? How do they do
it's
it?
comedically because Luigi is like terrified of everything there, and then he backs into the Grim Reaper and has like a whole double take thing, and then the Grim Reaper swings his scythe and just pulls Luigi's soul out of his body.
Very weird method of advertising this movie, but I don't get some of the video game fandoms that are out there, so I don't know. But I know we were talking about how Mario Samus was dead behind the castle, and Smash Brothers nonsense, and I just
I follow Eevee Nicks on Tumblr now. Their stuff is pretty good.
Yeah.
How could you not after that? That was wonderful, and they were nice enough to let us read it.
And yes. There have been more fish updates, don't worry.
Yes.
Other fish have gotten pregnant or have attempted to get pregnant.
Well, that's all very normal. But it was funny, as I said, that we read that and it just came off as somebody's fan fiction, and not even we didn't even question that there was a deeper explanation. It was just some weirdo writing like vor and mpreg porn of Smash Brothers characters or whatever.
Well, that's the
So
point of Smash Brothers.
I guess. Is it really the point? I mean,
Yes.
I get the idea of being able to play all your Nintendo characters together, but when it turns into a fandom and they all have these complicated, dramatic relationships, that's when it gets a little weird. Anyway, but
Everyone
yeah.
ships Samus and Zelda, so it's okay.
the current one that seems to be popular is having K. Rool and Ridley be best buds.
Yeah. Who's the
Oh,
other
K.
villain?
Rool, yes.
Yeah, who's the other villain that they introduced? Because there's somebody else that
Dark
they introduced.
Dark
Unless I'm
Samus is
completely
the only
mistaken
one
and
I
there
can
is-
think of.
Okay.
Dracula? Or Alucard? I
Alucard
know
isn't a
about that.
villain, but he is also an assist trophy.
Fair enough. Okay, I don't follow these stuff. And I didn't know Alucard wasn't a villain. I thought he was just Dracula in disguise or something.
No,
in
Alucard is
Castlevania-
Dracula's son!
Yeah, in Castlevania, he's Dracula's son.
I thought he was one of the many pseudonyms of Dracula, along with Dr. Acula.
No.
And, yeah, and Alucard, yes.
Nope. Not
You
in
know,
this
Dr.
instance.
Acula, Kosh Feratu.
Mr. Not a Vampire. What is he? Does he go by a name when he's in the novel? Does he go under a name, or does he just walk around calling himself Dracula?
I think just Dracula.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I think my voice is starting to give out, and we're
Mine actually
getting
is,
pretty
too.
late. I think we've gone for a while.
Yeah, it's
So,
been a couple hours.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
been an
Over
hour
an
and
hour,
13
anyway.
minutes.
Okay.
Yes. Which is actually a short one for us, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
We talked a
Let's,
lot about mayonnaise, so it's okay, and horses.
Yeah, we had a whole culinary.
You mean the white stuff?
Well, I'm never eating mayonnaise again, and if that's any consolation to you guys. After that,
I need some
After
white
that
stuff for
conversation.
my horse meat.
Oh, no.
yeah, we went way worse than white stuff. Anyway, yeah, but people have eaten. See, horse meat does not sound that horrific to me compared to some of the stuff people have talked. Like, yeah,
It's
I mean,
chewy from what I hear.
Yeah, it's not that you tell people I've eaten a horse, nobody's gonna be like, what? Like, I mean, we eat cows, but not horses. It's a somewhat arbitrary distinction there in many ways, except that horses apparently just don't taste as good. But yeah, so that's not a shocking taboo to eat horse. I don't.
I think it's because we've anthropomorphized horses a lot more often than we've anthropomorphized cows.
Sure. And people needed horses, like in the old days. It's like you couldn't just be eating your horses; you had to ride them places.
It actually was a thing in Jersey, like, within my living memory, where horse meat was outlawed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not too surprised about that, but
No, it makes sense. I mean, it's probably tied in with how, horse wrestling was a big deal. So, people needed horses to ride places.
How old do you think I was where you think that the reason they outlawed it was over horse wrestling?
Horse wrestling. I think, aren't you 185? Aren't you the old-timey prospector who had Costner's horse down with him there in Mexico?
No, okay, so the gist of it is that it's a thing that when horses were getting old, people were, or like if a horse was, like, couldn't have an odor, it was being sold to, like, places that butchered them, I believe, for, like, dog food.
Right.
ah.
Yeah, dog food.
And New Jersey
glue
actually is a big horse place.
Yeah, we have a surprising number of horse farms. There's one somewhere in my town, actually.
So it became a thing that I believe it was actually under Governor Christie Whitman, who was a big fan of horses, that it was a thing that was outlawed for that, and then that actually kind of created a minor problem that apparently just because since people didn't have a place to, like, sell these old or sick horses, they were just abandoning them to die.
Oh,
Oh.
God.
Yeah. So I remember it came up in class just, like, for a thing of, like, kind of, like, unintended consequences. Like, oh, yeah, this was really
So
bad for the horses.
When did the whole glue factory thing come into being stereotypical then for horses?
I think because, like, glue, like, Jello is made from, like,
Right.
hooves
Yeah.
and fat and stuff, and I imagine that.
Because I know that that's sort of the stereotypical thing that happens to horses in a lot of fiction is that when they're too old or when they want to get people want to get rid of them, they're sent to the glue factory.
Well, that is, what they would use. And the idea is that you wouldn't use a horse if it was still in its prime, because you could still ride it around. But
or if it was a workhorse and still in good shape.
Right. But you need that is how you make glue.
Or a sexy Costner horse.
Yeah. that was a celebrity. Excuse me. That was a celebrity horse. He got a lavish lifestyle, a lavish retirement that most horses cannot afford.
Expensive glue out of this horse.
Oh gosh.
All the things I'm gonna do to this horse. I'm gonna eat him. I'm gonna make glue out of him.
I'm gonna make so much white stuff out of this horse.
Oh. Oh.
And on that note,
because we needed to end it on something other than, well, all these horses were left abandoned and tied to trees to die.
No.
It's a comedy show, folks.
Most of the time.
We've brought you right on down, so...
Look, one way or another, we're ending with horse murder.
Horse murder.
Well, it's not quite murder, but okay.
No, it's murder.
All right.
You tie them to the tree, and they have nothing to do.
It's murder. Okay.
It's murder. We agree. It's murder. It's horse murder.
We've committed equine-cide.
Equicide, yeah, exactly. Just wanted to mention we're now on YouTube with the playlist Destroy All Clickbait on my channel, Prankster36. And all the links we've discussed in today's show are there underneath the video, which is a great place to leave comments. We also have links to our Patreons there. If you like what you hear, please consider becoming a patron for one or both of us, me and Ing. You'll get access to comics and art, as well as getting to hear this show 2 weeks early. I also wanted to give a shout out to Jack Feerick, who wrote our theme song. And finally, a reminder, I'm on Twitter as Prankster36, Ing is Ingdammit, and Avi is Aviviavai. Aviviavai, just to be confusing. You can follow one or all of us for updates on Twitter, including notifications for when we're doing the Twitch stream, because we do record the show live on Twitch, so that's fun, so why not join us for that? Alright, well, from all of us here at the crazy horse murdering tank of sickos here at Destroy All Clickbait, we wish you a good night again for the evening, and we'll see you in the funny pages. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Night.
Enjoy the white stuff.
Stop it, you! I'm getting out of here.